Alright, so, I accidentally ended the previous video. That's my bad. I guess I'm just gonna make this a part 2 and a part 1 video. I guess that's just the easiest way I can do it. So, the match that I had forgotten about, I don't know how I forgot about this match because it's awesome. John Theron versus Craig Touye, or Tuller. I don't know how people say it. Usually people say Touye, so I'm just going to call him Craig Touye. Craig has been pulling, needless to say, for a very, very long time. I'm not, like, a huge fan. Like, I haven't been following his whole career. Like I said, I'm fairly new to arm wrestling. But Craig Touye is really good. And being dominant at this age, like, is phenomenal, incredible. That being said, I feel a little bad for him that he's pulling Theron, because I think, I'll cut to the chase, John Theron is probably going to beat Touye. I'm going to give it to him 3-0. I think that's just the most safe thing for me to predict. Theron, I don't know much about, but from what I've seen, he reminds me a lot of Tobias Sperong. And the reason why I say that is because Tobias has an interesting style. Let me pull in here to a parking space. Yeah, so I'll do the rest of this not driving. All right, so here's the thing about John Theron. Have I been saying Craig Touye has this style? Because he doesn't. John Theron reminds me a lot of Tobias Sperong because he has that sort of close gripped, low hand top roll, and he is wildly aggressive. Wildly, incredibly aggressive. And the thing is, that's just a very interesting way to win matches, is just, there's something to be said about aggression and its unpredictability and its force and its drive. I think that this match is going to be interesting, but I think Theron is just going to be too much for Craig. I really do. I think that it's just going to be Theron 3-0. With much respect to both guys, yeah, I think John Theron is climbing the ranks and slowly becoming that next superstar in this division. And I love what Travis said at the East versus West qualifiers, or whatever they're called, when Theron was fighting. He just said, and remember, nothing good comes out of Canada. We don't see a lot of great athletes coming from that neck of the woods. Like, I love Travis sometimes. He can be a bit much, but, you know, you gotta love a guy with that much aggressive love for arm wrestling. You gotta love a guy like that. Here, I'm just gonna drive around a bit. I feel like I talk better driving around. So, the next match was Evgeny Prutnik and Cody Merritt. And what I was explaining before, I think that Prutnik takes this match. I think he takes it 3-0. And I was considering 3-1 before, but that was only because I was thinking of elbow fouls. Prutnik doesn't elbow foul. Cody does. Cody elbow fouls. Because when you're throwing that much force and that much weight behind your offense and your defense, your elbow's not going to keep on the pad. It's just not. And that's just being realistic and understanding how that works. But if he's elbow fouling and he gets fouled out, like, Prutnik is still going to win. Now, here's the thing about Prutnik. I love him. Love him. My thing about Evgeny Prutnik is this. He has become so popular that he is one of those pullers now where people are just like, oh, it's Prutnik. Whoever he's up against, I haven't heard of this other guy. He's just going to win. Prutnik is just going to win. It's Prutnik. Come on, it's Prutnik. I'm not one of those guys. Evgeny Prutnik's incredible. I mean, East versus West 2, he beat Artem Morozov. and he injured Artem Morozov. Who else has done that? Like, Prutnik is another level, was another level. His most recent 2 matches, one against Irakli and one against Todd Hutchings, I just wish he was still strong. I don't know what changed. Apparently some people say it was because he got off the juice. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But something changed and he's not as good as before. But he's still Prutnik. Okay? He's still Prutnik. The only thing that I think, like, his recent match with Todd Hutchings doesn't really give us any new perspective. It's Todd Hutchings. Like, Todd is another one of those people, like Devin Larratt, like Hunter Knopfs. He just wins. He just rolls up and beats people. It's what he does. So here's the thing. His match with Irakli. I'm talking about Prutnik. That's the one where I'm getting caught up, because if I were thinking Irakli versus Cody Merritt, Cody Merritt is kicking that kid so hard, is just destroying that kid from Georgia. He is. And Prutnik lost to Irakli. But there's something to be said about Prutnik where he is used to containing big guys. So is Irakli. My goodness, so is Irakli. That being said, I'm giving it to Prutnik. And even looking at him in the press conference, this looks like a very big form for Evgeny Prutnik. My gosh, how many times can I say his name in one video? So Evgeny Prutnik. There you go again. Prutnik. We're going to give that guy a 3-0 victory in this prediction. Let me park again. So, next match, I am going to do Mindaugas Tarasidis versus Giannis Amelins, the Jedi. I've got some thoughts on this one. So, I was kind of familiar and unfamiliar with both of these guys. Here, I think I can turn off the light. Hello? Oh, it's fine. Okay. So, I'm kind of familiar with both these guys. Mainly from, I bought the pay-per-view for East vs. West 14. So I've seen all these guys pull. And I didn't even realize who they were when I saw them pull. But I still saw them. Here's the thing. Their styles match up great. Giannis and Mindaugas, low hand top roll. Really interesting. Now, at the press conference, they brought up a good point. Giannis brought up this point. When 2 low-hand top rollers are going against each other in their same weight category, same type of strength, they're bound to probably try something else. But all that being said, I don't think Giannis has this one. There was something that he said at the press conference that kind of upset me a bit, and that just kind of made me feel like, hey, this is just kind of stupid. I don't know why he said this, because it kind of makes me think less of him and think like, were you really training? Were you really preparing for this match? And what he said was, in response to an audience member who asked, so Giannis, I know you had an injury a while ago. Have you recovered from that injury, and are you ready to start using that arm again? Are you ready to throw yourself into this match 100%? And he's like, yeah, I think so. So I did test my injury, and I made sure it was all healed. I did a couple exercises. What does that mean? You did a couple of exercises to test if you were injured? Like, how serious is this guy taking things? Like, that was just something that caught me kind of off guard. It's like, yeah, I did a couple exercises. It's healed. What? Really? Okay, sure. I still think Mindaugas takes this match 3-0. I'm putting it in favor of Mindaugas. A lot of decisive matches, I think, are going to be in this. A lot of flash pins, a lot of dominant victories from multiple groups. Next match, I'm just going to do Mindaugas Tarasidis versus Hunter Knopfs. thinking about this, the factor is that this is the left arm. As much as Mindicus wants us to think that this is a matter of it's him versus Hunter, it's not. It's Mindicus on the left hand that is not the correct hand to be using. He is a right-handed arm wrestler. That's what he is. So the reason why he's agreed to a left against Knopf's is beyond me, because Knopf's uses his left hand. That is his signature hand. That flash pin that he's able to do is just incredible. I'm giving this to Knopf's. People are going to pick Mindicus for whatever reason. I think it's just because it's Mindicus. It's like for John Brzezink's match. You got to pick John. You got to. Like, I don't care who his opponent is. You got to pick John because it's John. But ultimately, no. I'm going against the current. I'm picking Hunter Knopf's. I think this guy is just going to flash pin this idiot who thinks that he's just going to put up with this guy. Mindicus thinks he's super good on the left. I don't know if that's the case. If this was right, it would be a different story. This is Hunter's arm, and I think he's going to have a dominant victory against Mindicus. 3-0, Hunter Knopf's. Now, we're going to go on to Jocelyn Bryson versus Sarah Backman. Didn't know too much about Jocelyn going into this one. Looking up videos as I always do, there's not much on Jocelyn. There isn't much. And that's unfortunate. But from what I've seen, she's super strong. She is really, really strong. Sarah Backman is Sarah Backman. She still has one of my favorite matches of all time. Like, not just female matches. My favorite match of all time, one of them, is her versus Gabby at King of the Table. An awesome match. Super, super awesome. I love it. Sarah is one of those girls who is just at the top of her game every time she pulls and constantly is here to remind people, like, you can talk about Barbora, you can talk about Gabby, you can even talk about Fia Rysick and her rise through East versus West. But overall, one of the strongest women on the planet, period, not just for arm wrestling, is Sarah Backman. I mean, my goodness, at her interview, she was talking about, yeah, I'm also going to compete and break the women's world record for strict curl later this year. Like, wow. She is just a really, really strong human being. As far as this match goes, I don't know enough about Jocelyn, so I'm going to pick Sarah. And I think that's a fair pick. Everyone's kind of split because Jocelyn's really powerful, and usually the bigger person walks away with the win because of more power, more strength. I just cannot bet against Sarah. I just can't. Sarah's awesome. So I'm picking Sarah. I'm going to give her 3-1. 3-1 against Jocelyn. Jocelyn gets one. Next up, a match that I am heavily anticipating because I've been following this dude for so long, and I love him. Matt Mask. I love Matt Mask. I don't appreciate all the swearing. As a Christian, I don't appreciate it. But he gets so fired up, you can't help but be entertained. He is awesome. I've been following a lot of his career, and I've been following him the past year. A very dominant year of 2024 for Matt Mask. I mean, beating Wagner Bortolato, Derek Smith, Ron Bath, Lars Rabakin, and Marcio Barboza. Like, that is a great winning streak. He did have one miss, and that was with Brad Grundy. But, you know, all in all, I love what he said at East vs. West 14 when Ray was interviewing him at the end. Like, do you think this is the best form? What has changed? How good are you? And he's just like, dude, I'm just tired of losing. I'm just tired of going up against these strong guys and not having any response or excuse. Like, I'm just tired of losing, so I'm coming for everyone at the top. I'm coming for all those guys. I think that this match was perfect. Matt wanted an event in the top 10 for 105 category, preferably top 5. So Engen threw him the top 5 guy. coming out of an injury. So there you go. We're really going to see if Matt is able to hold that top level, which I think he is. I have a lot of thoughts on this match. Keter Gelly. Here's the thing. I get upset with some arm wrestlers because of how they decide to practice and prepare for their matches. I feel it is a completely underrated thing to do to prepare for your match, particularly when you know who you're going to be pulling. You got to change it up sometimes. Where guys like Levon, like, he changes his game even though he's on the top and he can hook everybody. Like, he can top roll everybody. He changes it up. Devin Larratt, he changes it up. A lot of these guys change it up. Georgi Svetkov, the day he goes into a press or a hook, I will be out of my mind. I don't ever see that happening. He is going to top roll or lose. And I loved Keter Gelly's style. People keep saying Keter Gelly is one of the smartest arm wrestlers in the world. From his decision that I'm about to talk about, I've lost some respect for him, and I've lost that thought for him. I still agree his style is one of the smartest. I don't think he is one of the smartest. His style is, you're in the setup, and immediately drive the elbow back, pronate, and just hold that position, and let the opponent kind of just open you up a bit, and then shoot to the side until you pin your opponent. Really effective style. Has beat Irakli, has beat Michael Todd, has beat a lot of really strong dudes. That being said, you know the problem about that technique? Puts you right in a very specific lane. What Keter Gelly does is he allows whoever his opponent is to top roll him. To just top roll him is what he allows for people to do. And he stops the top roll, and then he combats the top roll. What I don't understand is, now I know that that's what he's going to do. He's going to do his normal thing where he back pressures and sets up to side pressure after he stops his opponent's top roll. Why would you do that? You know Matt Mask cannot hook for the life of him. He can't. You get him in a hook, he's done. Why would you, coming out of an injury, being completely fresh, decide, hey, I know, my next opponent is Matt Mask, one of the best top rollers in the division. Let me put myself directly in that lane for him to pin me, and then just try to work my way out. Hook him! Train for the hook! Why are you putting yourself in the lane to get pinned? Why are you doing that? So I've lost a great deal of respect for him. Like, oh, he's this smart guy. Like, then why is he setting himself up to get pinned by Matt Mask? Why isn't he training for a hook? Why isn't he doing that? And he might, but his training doesn't show that. His training shows him putting himself in that exact position where he just counters the top roll by stopping his opponent and then side pressuring them. So I'm giving this to Matt because Matt's got an incredible top roll that's probably going to pin this guy every round. Matt Mask 3-0. I was picking Keter Gelly before. Not anymore. No. Because that is a terrible approach, and I think Matt is just going to be right at home with how Keter Gelly tries to counter him. Matt's going to pin him 3 in a row. Could be the other way, but the way this looks, you're putting yourself in the lane to get pinned by Matt, Matt's going to pin you. So there you go. Now, top 3 matches. I've got to kind of go quick because I don't want to just blather on. And I plan on making more videos. Plan on having more things to talk about. I just wanted to make this video. Both of these videos, because this will be a part 2. Because I messed up part 1. And stopped the video before I could continue. So, here's the next match. One that I personally am most excited for. Dave Chafee versus Georgi Svetkov. My goodness. I think people have this wrong. On the polls, it looks pretty even. Most polls have said 53 to 47 in favor of Georgi. All the comments say Georgi, which means the people voting for Dave are kind of like Dave. Quiet, and they just sit back. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Dave Chafee 3-0. Why do I say that? Well, you gotta look at this as a match that means more than, oh, Georgi, he pulled Artem Morozov and won. Dave pulled him and lost. So obviously Georgi's gonna win, is not the way to look at this match. Because one, Dave is so much stronger than when he pulled Morozov. So much stronger. He is incredibly healthy. He says this is going to be a new Dave. This is, prepare to see a guy you have never seen before. This is the new Dave Chafee. The one that beat Frank Lamparelli. The one that beat Gabor Bauduka last year. So, I believe he's in good shape. Now, here's the thing. Georgi gets put on the B side way too easily. You know what I think I see this match looking like? Alex Kurdecha versus Georgi, where Kurdecha gets that hand and just slowly takes him straight to the pad. I think that's what this is going to look like for Dave and Georgi. Because here's the thing, Georgi isn't fast off the go. Dave is. So Dave is probably going to get the jump on Georgi and is really just going to start his attack. And we've seen Georgi in that full extended position where he likes to be to defend against Sergei Kalinichenko. And Kalina was pressing him, and he couldn't pin him. But what I'm thinking about is, what is more pressure? Dave Chafee's full hand side pressure top roll, or Sergei's flop wrist press? I think Dave's top roll is much more pressure. I think Dave's going to pin Georgi, and it's going to look like the Kurdecha match. I'm taking it 3-0 Dave Chafee. Watch and be impressed by Dave. Watch. Next match. I don't have much to say for this one. Devin versus Corey. Devin is going to talk all he wants. He's my favorite. I love Devin. Devin's my favorite arm wrestler. I don't agree with everything he says, but I agree with a lot of what he says. He's really good. I love Devin. Now, here's the thing. Devin, like I've said multiple times in this video, he just wins. Devin Larratt just wins matches. That's what he does. And because he just wins matches, when he talks about, I'm going to destroy you, you have no chance, I'm more inclined to listen because he just doesn't lose. And he backs it up every single time. And I love Devin. I will make more individual videos on certain people. I will. This one is kind of a longer video. I'm trying to keep it somewhat short, but this is about 30 to 40 minutes of footage. I don't want to post to people because I feel like they'll get uninterested. That's okay. If you're watching, I appreciate it. So, Cody Wood, Corey West is a power-driven arm wrestler, which is where I think if this were to swing in favor of Corey is where it would go. I've talked to myself and thought about Devin a lot. Here's the thing. Why has Gennady and Levon given Devin more of a fight than Hermes, who's given both of them incredible fights? Devin beat Hermes super easy, but he had a lot of trouble with Gennady, and he cannot beat Levon. Why? Devin is strong against guys who are not power-based. I'm not talking speed. I'm not talking strength. Power, drive, momentum, force, exertion. That's what I'm talking about. Levon and Gennady, both Georgian, incredibly strong, emit a lot of power. And at the end of the day, strength under technique cannot stop a more powerful opponent, is what I'm finding in Devin Larratt. So, since Corey is a power-based arm wrestler, I think that he is going to have a pretty good shot at beating Devin. And this is Devin coming in like, I just have to walk up and beat him or else I don't feel I'm worthy of all these other guys. Like, okay. But do I think Devin's going to win 3-0? Yes. Yes, I do. Because it's Devin. And because even when Devin wasn't training his left, it always looks strong enough that he will just beat most anybody. Hopefully it's tightened up a bit. It doesn't look like it has. It looks like it still has a little give before he's able to stop his opponent. And at the end of the day, he's got a king's move. He's got a hook. He's got a ton of different things in his arsenal. He'll just win. 3-0 Devin Larratt. The final match of East versus West 17. John Brezink and Yoshinobu Kanai. At first I had John. I'll cut to the chase. Now I'm thinking Yoshi Kanai. Just because the more I thought about it, I want John to win more than Yoshi. 100%. Everyone wants John to win. I don't think he will. John's hand control is amazing. His containment is amazing. But the thing about Yoshi is he is very odd. When he is in that open top roll position, we saw this with Todd Hutchings. When his arm swells and is supposed to not be able to work as properly, it gets stronger. Because what happens is he swells in a bent arm position, which makes his arm more difficult to open up as his arm fills with blood. Which is super interesting. Like when you see him in the corner versus Todd Hutchings holding his arm, it's not at a 180-degree angle. It's at like 160, 150. Like it is a somewhat bent arm and it doesn't open or close easily, which means he can sit in that open top roll position however long he wants and he will get away with it every single time. And John's technique is hand control until the opponent has nothing left to give. I don't think Yoshi's going to run out of gas. I don't think Yoshi's going to take his foot off the gas. I think Yoshi's going to beat John 3-0. And I guess that sums up just about everything. If you've watched this, thank you so much. If you haven't watched the previous video, go watch the previous video. I plan to make more arm wrestling content. As things progress, I'll probably do a review of East vs. West 17 after it's done tomorrow. Very excited. I love this event because it's not 16, it's not 15, where it's got all these big matches and everything is super cool. Anything could be a main event. This is a good middle-of-the-road East versus West event. And that's kind of what we need to bring it back to, is like, this is a world-level competition, but we are not going to just sit here and watch the best of the best pull every single time. We need to give some recognition to, per se, the little guys. The guys who do not get recognized as much as Devin Larratt and Levon Saganishvili and Denis Saplankov, Hermes Gasparini, Vitaly Laletin. We need to give some credit to Hunter Knopfs, Joseph Moranto, Cody Wood, Andrei Sharkovich. We need to give some credit to these guys who also give a lot of heart and a lot of love to the sport. Time, energy, efficiency. That is what it's all about. Once again, if you've watched all of this, thank you so much. If you want to leave a like, subscribe. I'm not going to pressure anyone to do that. If you comment on this video, and your comment is mean, because I know a lot of arm wrestling comments are oddly mean, I don't care. I'll respond to some people if they want to comment, and hopefully this finds people and hopefully gets you guys thinking. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear some other predictions, or maybe why you would refute my predictions. Thank you so much for watching if you have. God bless you all. God bless you all. Let's have a good event. Bye. Bye, everyone.